ready? Who's ready? Who's ready for some boom, baby, boom? Rise and shine. Eventually, we're gonna shine outside. I looked outside, and this whole table was lit up with some shine. Nice little fresh air. Your boy Marky Saint walking around with his shirt off. This was impossible, like literally yesterday, but now it's a nice little 50, 60 degrees. Hopefully, I'm not interpreting anybody. And now I'm out with the freshness and the dogs barking and the trees growing and the birds chirping. This is foreign exchange. This is the energy I get from being out in a foreign place and exchanging my time for a real life. And a lot of my friends that are out here, this is Saints Addiction. I'm Mark Saint. Every morning, reach, preach, and teaching to everybody, about how to live life. And I mean, everybody has a choice at how to live their life. But after my dinners and lunches and museums from yesterday, I realized that not everybody lives life. They exchange foreign elements for current happiness. They exchange their salary for weekends. They exchange their feelings for alcohol and suppress most of their growth. And as I come around with my sobriety and I listen to my friends going, no, alcohol makes it 110 times, 100 times, 1,000 times more impossible. Your life, your problems, it glorifies it, it enhances it. And then here we are having this conversation about foreign exchange. You know, I exchange currency at the ATM. USD gets converted to euro. I exchange my weekends into a blur because, hey, I want to feel good and I want to be around my friends and they feel good, right? They're all drunk too. And then when it comes to the time that you need, and that's why I've been preaching to everybody, reach, preach, and teach every morning. You already know Saints Addiction. That I realized my time was getting sucked up. This morning I can wake up and not have a hangover. My nose is quite stuffed, but that's just from allergies. But hey, I'm up and I'm above the ground. I'm ready to go for the next day and create my day instead of my day's been created already for me because I've exchanged some of my happiness or my happy pills or my happy, what was it? What was the marbles? My happy thoughts have been exchanged for, you guessed it, for another quick trip. You know what I mean? Instead of a actual destination unknown, no. I go into the trip that's already predictable. That yeah, my friends are still going to be there at the same bar, drinking the same expensive drinks, and we're all running out of money quickly. And I just was like, man, if this is not what I came for, everybody's always asking me, why are you in Finland? Why are you in Finland? I'm coming here for the fresh air, the ability to touch nature and trees often, and some of the freshest water air combination on earth. And I've come to see my friends. Here's the deal: my friends aren't coming to see me. And as much as I come here for my birthday or come here for the spring or come here for the summer, the truth is they're repeating the same cycle so that they can never exchange time or their money or their health for visiting me. And this bugs me, It bugs me, and I told them that. It bugs me that my friends are missing their teeth or lying through their face or have no food for their children. I said the energy has to come from somewhere. This is energy exchange, but that's the truth. Your energy has to come from somewhere. You have to exchange time for money, or maybe you're exchanging energy for tomorrow, because now, like my friend said, now she's throwing up at the toilet and her 8-year-old daughter's watching her in concern. Don't be like me when you grow up. Make sure you save your money. Choose wiser than me. And here's the tough part: is it takes modeling. You know, you're modeling a behavior. You're showing them how you act or how you behave, and therefore they're going to show you in the future how you're going to act and behave. And one of the most profound things I read this morning, Danny G, that's what's up. He said, tucking in your kids that'll eventually tuck you in, right? We all worry about our children, but we don't worry about the health of ourselves so that we live longer for said children. This is just a weird behavior. You know, it's just weird to be like, I love my kids so much, but at the same time, not do anything for your health so that they can be around, or you can be around for them when they need you to be healthy, when they need you to have longevity, when they need you to make something happen, you know? And this is what we talk about, you know? We talk about these things in the morning. Nice. They're gambling. It looks lovely. I didn't want to startle you. Yeah. And that's what it is, you know? It's one of these things where either you live in fear like the neighbors, and they're like, oh, he's got a dark beard. Why are you in our backyard? To, you have a beautiful backyard, and thank you. It's an energy exchange, whether you like it or you don't. You exchanging time for money, rich people will buy it. If you're exchanging your dreams for comfort, comfort will steal it. And if you don't ever make yourself available for the dream and exchange this foreign elements for an actual element like nature, you know, then you're forever going to be in a cycle. You're forever going to not have the money, have some excuse, and you're always going to believe it too. And that's why yesterday was such a cool experience. I had a king day again. Woke up, they're like, come to lunch with us. I wake up, I go to the gym. My friend's like, I'm here. Come back from the gym. We all go to a museum. So beautiful. And in the museum, there was paintings of history, people that got married, people that planted potatoes, people that participated in the Olympics, artists that expressed themselves and made us laugh as well. It was a great exchange. Look at me, I'm on a flower hunt. And this is the exchange. I go home early so I can get up early. I persist so that way I can fix the demons inside, you know? And this is what I found. Look how beautiful they are. Wildflowers, bro. That's what I get to see. I get to see nature. I get to be right here next to some wildflowers. I'm going to pick a few and put them in the vase and expand my horizons instead of deleting my future self and exchanging for future wealth. I exchange foreign for domestic. Everyone here, flowers. Everyone here gave up today. So I'm just going to sit on the couch, watch some Netflix. And guess what? That's exactly what they'll get. They're going to get exactly what they want. And then the next day, their kids can watch them. And that's exactly what they'll get. A kid watching their experience. And then they're going to model the behavior. And you're going to be like, I don't want you to be anything like me. And how many people are like that? You know? You have to model the behavior. And that's what I've been showing people. I actually get up. And I keep getting back up. I keep making myself get back up. I keep encouraging myself to get back up. And how I enforce it. Look at this. I got you flowers. That's Finland. That's Finland all day. People are afraid to say, even to themselves, that they're human. They ignore other humans. They ignore other inputs, right? They literally blocking their blessings. And I had a deep conversation with some old friends that have picked bad habits, you know, lost their teeth, lost their wealth, lost their loved ones. They've exchanged future happiness for current fake happy. And this exchange, Saints Addiction, right, was what I wasn't willing to do anymore. I wasn't willing to give up this kind of time for somebody's future dream. They say work for your dream or work for somebody else's. That's up to you. But that's what we do. We give up those pebbles of happiness over to the other side, the dark side, if you will, and wonder on why our lives aren't the way we want them to be. Life is by design. You know what I mean? And we choosing these things. We're either choosing the choice or we're choosing the change. It's really up to you. And a lot of these things are what you really want on the other side of that habit. You know, I'm over here traveling the world buying my friends sushi, and they don't even have the money to buy the sushi themselves. I was shocked by it. I want them to be able to afford other things, but like I was explaining to them, the exchange is off. You know, there's a foreign exchange going on where they have exchanged their energy for someone else's. They have had to cancel some of their plans because someone else doesn't have enough money for their kids, or yep, let's put these in a vase. This is my vase. You know, for their food. You know, I'm going to these houses. These kids are trying to hang out with their father for the weekend, and guess who ain't got no food? These kids. You know, and it's like, where'd all the money go, Dad? In drinks, 10 euros a pop, going down their throat and not making them feel any better than it did before. Yep, I know what it is. And you know what it is too. Flowers in a vase, baby. Flowers in a vase. And that's where we're at. We're in a world where we are against ourselves. We pretend to be in solidarity. We pretend to be organized. We work so fucking hard to keep our heads above water. And the first thing we do is we drown our sorrows. Oh, and I was just shocked by this behavior, bro. Let me roll another joint. I was shocked by the outcomes of people's lives after I've known people almost 20 years. They're still at the same bars. And they're like, oh, one of these days I'm going to come visit you in Vegas. I'm like, one of these days never come. I've come almost 8-9 times to Finland. My friends aren't going to save up and come see me. Yeah, Mark. And then it comes to excuses. Then it's the money to get there and it's the money to stay. And then it's like, that money's going into the bar. You know, we walked past the Pinguini. It's a penguin bar we used to go to when we were in our 20s. And my friend said, man, I spent 1,000 euros in there. That's an investment. It's an investment in time. I spent years in depression, one of the girls told me. That's another investment, to sit there for years, to blow yourself up with depression and not impression, to exchange our day for our feelings. Instead of telling our feelings what to do and saying today is what I want to do. I want to go to a museum. I want to be sober enough to enjoy it. I want to go hang out with my friends. I even fell asleep. I actually was late from a nap. So I had eaten all day and went to eat all you can eat sushi right after. I was just like eating yesterday. A little too much. But, you know, what I can't eat is time. You know what I mean? What I can't exchange is energies, you know, and what I can't do is live my life for them. You know what I mean? I can't be their guide all the time. I'm not around to count their repetitions, and no one's going to count your repetitions. They're not going to see it. They're going to just let it be. And like the Beatles sing, let it be, let it be. Well, you can just let it be, and you'll see time go by. You'll watch your kids grow up, and you'll watch your life go by. And I was just like, this is not a fair exchange, that one can go drinking and the other one has to pay for the medicine, or one can say, stay with me, but then it's a maybe, or what's the other one? I'm too afraid. And it's just like, okay, then stay afraid. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing I can do for your fear. There's nothing I can do for your decisions. The guy's asking me, you got to teach me? You got to teach me how you don't drink. You got to teach me how you don't drink. I told him the medicine. It was time. Your math ain't mathing. And he was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, dude, your math ain't mathing. You're over here telling me about one thing, but your math ain't adding up about the thing that you're actually doing. It's like it's a chemistry or something. This is a science fair project. Your life, you put in the baking soda and the vinegar, and it started to boil over. You know, why didn't we add a base to this element? Why are we always adding acid to it? Why are we always seeking outside catalysts to our motivation? Why is it not an inspiration inside of us that says, you know what, I don't want to do this because my kids might see me this way. And when I told my friend, my ex girlfriend, she she said that really hit me when you said that, because my daughter watched me throw up, and I was so embarrassed to show her mother weak by the toilet throwing up. And then you're going to be like, don't be like me when you grow up. How many parents have you had? Or no, how many parents have you had? How many times did your parents say, don't be like me when you grow up? Or I hope your kids are just like you. You know what I mean? That's what my parents, that's what my mom used to say to us. I hope our kids are just like you. When you have children, I hope they're just like you. That means obnoxious, over the top, entitled. You know what I mean? Like all the things that our children take from us, and I say our children for a guy that doesn't have any. My friend was like, "What the fuck?" And this is someone I dated and had sex with, and she's already got kids, and she's like, "I know how much you love children. I know how good of a father figure you are. I'm so grateful that you're in these kids' lives. You're the fun uncle showing up and showing them how to design. Encouraging the kids to stay sober where their father is sleeping the whole weekend. You know what I mean, bro? It's like, hey, it's our weekend, and all our dad does is fucking lets us pop on the video games while he sleeps all day. What is that? What is that? What does that mean? That means that's one day that you didn't spend educating your kids. Instead, you're modeling a behavior that you don't want them to be like. You'll be like, "What the fuck, dude? Why are you like this?" You know what I mean? Why are you why am I setting my kids up for failure? They wouldn't say that. They wouldn't do that. They were like, "Hey, if if this thing that you do makes your kid do the same, would you do it?" And then of course their cognitive mind would say, "No, I would change I don't want my kids to see that." Right? It's almost like a vision for a vision. If your children saw your behavior, right, would you want them to act like you? You like an old adage when they used to say, if your grandma was behind you, what would you do? Would you be doing the same thing that you're doing? What would Jesus do? And you sit there and you reflect and you go, this isn't my best version of myself. Like my friend said, I'm just gonna curl up, eat everything, Netflix and chill and smoke my cigarettes. And it's just like, yep, everything that was in there. She's like, fuck, I got no money for cigarettes. I need a cigarette. And I'm like, there's plenty of people out here that have cigarettes. It's just like, man, I just smoke so much more when I'm drinking. So now you doubled up on your fake dopamine. Now you have to, because the brain is seeking all of it. It's like, I need more alcohol. I've already swallowed 7 beers. It's not enough. I need cigarettes with it, and I'm gonna smoke those till like a chimney. It's not enough. And then when I'm at the home the next day, Netflixing and chilling and making myself fatter, it's still not enough. And it'll never be enough because these things aren't enough. They're not the solution. Like if they were, dude, I would still be doing it. I'm stone cold letting you know. But it wasn't worth it. It's not worth it to peel your hair back and throw up in front of your children. It's not worth it to look in an empty refrigerator and there be no food. It's not worth it when you can't save up to go visit your friends that are visiting you. Something's got to give. The foreign exchange has to take place. And if it's foreign and not domestic, odds are you're getting a bad exchange rate. This is what I'm telling you about time. You're not getting the full day of the next day as your full version of yourself. Now you got to give up 2 days, which is 48 hours. It should have been 8 hours of sleep. Now you got a 48-hour work week, and you cycle back and give it up. That whole weekend, that 40 hours of you recovering, maybe like a Saturday, Sunday, is all gone to hangovers and lost income and doubling up. No, what she say? 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times worse. What kind of exchange is that? You know what I mean? It's like going to Thailand where I get $1 You know, a dollar gives me 33 baht. That's a 33 to 1 exchange. That's really good. It used to be 35, 45. You know what I mean? I'm getting a lot back for my dollar. What are you getting back for that beer? You know, you're getting that laughter with the friends that you never get to see unless you're at the bar too. Oh, I haven't seen you in so long. Yeah, because I haven't been coming to the same fucking bar. And I went through that experience in Vegas where I was like, before I ever traveled, I was like, man, I'm gonna leave some friends behind, or I'm gonna leave my contacts. I had like 4,000 people in my database. I had to be willing to go away from the database, the cocaine friends, the repetitive behavior, the holding up the bar like it was my fucking job. You know what I mean? Has anybody ever else been there? Because my friends are there. Oh, yeah, yeah. See you this weekend. I already cashed in the whole fucking weekend, man. I already cashed in the whole weekend just so I can get some slaps and some rubs on my head. I told my friend, stop touching my head. In Buddhist culture, it's where the crown chakra is. Oh, I'm sorry, 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 sorry. No, you're just drunk. You're not sorry. You know, and if we were to be respectful, right? We would talk respectful to each other. We would touch each other respectfully instead of groping somebody or something you would do without consent. Here it is. Life's a fucking trip, man. And it's the way that you trip that'll determine your destination. Like kind of like the drugs that you do. I thought it was so interesting that these people are so organized to find other people to do the same drugs with them. Maybe because bars are infrastructure that we're used to as a meeting spot for other people to get inebriated. Right? Like, oh, all of us are doing methamphetamines. They somehow find a way. Crackheads find a way to conglomerate, you know what I mean? And yet it seems the sobriety or the decision to stay healthy or be in fitness, right? We forget to witness ourself, our behaviors, our patterns. We don't want to see that shit. We're just going to be like, oh, I'm so fucking hungover. I'm never going to drink again. The only way for them to end that pain is the hair of the dog and do it again. And then they wonder why it's so addictive. It's the same like steroids. The guy's like, I've been clear about this. That Bradley dude or whatever, the one that does the gym thing. I've been clear with this. I've said it many times. I'm on juice, and he's like, well, not as much as I was when I was in my 20s. And I was laughing because his rationalization was that he's not drinking as much. It was almost like when Justin Timberlake got busted for a DUI. I'm encouraging you guys not to drink and drive. You just exhibited the behavior. You're the one that just got arrested for drinking and driving, and now you're preaching and teaching like people are gonna listen. Justin Timberlake, you made a mistake. You know what I mean? You're human too, and in your humanness, all the awesomeness, all the dancing skills, all the hot chicks that I've ever wanted to fuck. Let's go, Melissa Milano. Let's go, Cameron Diaz. Let's go, Britney Spears. Let's go, just Kabeel. It's not enough. And like the joke was last night, and the guy goes, you know, he was going on about it, and he was saying something like, "You're in the Garden of Eden, and you have eternal life, and you have all this things." And the girl goes, "Oh, that smells good." It's not enough. And that's where I have to explain how it became enough for me. This is why I had to explain how Saints Addiction took place, where I exchanged, right, for more time. I was like, the cigarettes are going to take up time. I think every cigarette takes a week or 12 days, they said scientifically, off your lifetime, right? And in a pessimistic way, people that smoke cigarettes are pessimists, by the way. In a pessimistic way, you're saying, I don't care what happens tomorrow. I just need today. And everyone does that. We run a debt on ourselves of positivity, and we offset it by putting it on happy, right? Instead of happiness, a happy penis, we go for a fake happiness. As long as we look cool, or as long as it makes it to the gram, as long as somebody else is impressed, we've yet to impress ourselves. It's just this. You're exchanging all this energy and money and health for people that need it the most. They need their teeth. They need to go to the doctors. They need to buy medicine for their kids. But guess what? It goes to the bar. And it's almost like think about if you ever went to a corporation, or like I think about it like this, if instead of me eating Taco Bell, right? You know what I mean? Instead of me eating Taco Bell, how much more healthy and more money I would have given if every meal, let's say the 12, $15, every meal was bought into a stock, which is Yum Yum Brands. You know, if I had bought the stock and not bought into the product, right? How much further along would I be? You know, how much more time would I get? What would I do with my time if I stop repeating some of the same cycles? And this also happened yesterday. I finally got a drawing book. Haven't done this in a while, but I started to draw. This is from memory when I used to draw cartoons and Mickey Mouses and stuff like that. And then here's my first, this was Finland 2025, and like my first still drawing, which was an impression to me after I came from the museum. I was like, oh shit, man, I want to draw too. And as soon as I got done drawing, I wanted to draw something else. You know what I mean? I was like, this is super cool. It's super free and super enlightening and made me super happy. And yet it's something I don't do as often as I'd like. And this is what it is. I'm here at the Rich Man spot, and apparently he bid on this famous Johan Paluma. It's an actual Johan Paluma. I don't know if you can see the pastels and the oil paintings in this still, but here's your boy. Here's me trying to replicate, duplicate, and improve. Here's me sitting still and doing something with my energy. And I got to find a new outlet that I used to have since I was a kid. I used to draw all the fucking time. And I'm a really good artist, but I never considered myself an artist. Now I consider myself a designer because I do it online, or I use Photoshop or something like this, you know? But to sit and grab a pen, right? Write down your autobiography. Write down your goals, you know? Grab the pen and start designing. You know, this is life by design, and most of us afraid to see how fucking powerful it'll be. Most of us are just using an excuse, or hiding behind our patterns, or really replicating bad behaviors. And I'm here to tell you, I just chose better behaviors, man. I chose the gyms over the bars. You know, I chose water over beers. I chose reality over dystopia. And all people, we're gonna do something like that. And all things, we're gonna come around and we're gonna say things to ourselves and just go, okay, as long as I feel okay, right? What about when you don't feel okay the next day? Right now, who's gonna talk to you about it? Like, you know what I mean, bro? Like, you're already fucked. And now it's like, now you got one thing: either get off the cycle or repeat the cycle, and that is what's change. It's called change. And you're supposed to embrace and drive your change, not hide and remain the same. This is not what human beings are designed to do, dude. We are designed to procreate. We're designed to be curious. We're designed to explore. Why not explore these dark tendencies? Why not explore our shadow side? Why not explore a different behavior and see what kind of output we get from our own energy? You know, like, not from if I buy something and then I retard my wealth, or that I swallow something, right? And I'm smoking something. Let's smoke something. Bless up. Join Weed Club. Saints Addiction. But I had to sit here too. Talk about how many joints I've smoked, and how many spliffs I've had, and how much tobacco's in them, and how that becomes a foreign element, and how I really don't like smelling like smoke, but I like smoking. Exchanging every puff for a height that I wanted to reach. And then it became maintenance. It just became Saints Addiction, the habit. And I had to be like, hey, what habits, and because I'm not perfect, what habits are cool to stick around? I think my weed's way cooler to stick around than your beer. Weed over beer. And as we sat here with King Remus, and he was asking about cannabis, it was like, this is a whole nother industry, homie. It's a $50 billion industry in America alone, let alone the world. And why wouldn't you choose plants over poisons? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you choose a plant that heals you, comes from nature, grows out of the ground, for some kind of chemical that somebody stepped on in Peru and Colombia, and you're snorting it up your nose in a dirty bathroom in Finland? That's what it was. And the girl's like, oh, no, it says love and champagne. And I said, you mean cocaine and champagne? Because the design's, coming off of Chanel, the CC. So it's cocaine and champagne. That's what we say in Vegas. And she's like, that's not here. And I'm like, that's here too, bitch. That's here too. And the girl chimed in, even they were being bitches. She still chimed in. She's like, yeah, that's true. Her friend chimed in. How many people are snorting powders or chewing pills or swallowing liquids, poisons, and calling it a solution, calling it happiness? And I used to call it that. I used to call it that. A shot of Patron Silver with a little bit of salt, a lime in the Corona, and a couple lines of cocaine, and I called that my happiness. And for years, I just destroyed my life and my health and my finances. And I was like, what did I get out of it? That's what you're going to have to ask. What's your foreign exchange? Yep. What's the exchange rate? We ask it about currencies all the time and monies, but I'm talking about time. It's the most valuable currency you have, and you exchange it for all sorts of things. And maybe you don't see it, but we all do. So I encourage you to do the math. Let your math add up instead of being a minus. Let it be something that you can encourage yourself to say, hey, this is the investment in me today. I'll invest in me in a walk. I'll invest in the gym. I'll invest in a jog. I'll invest in a walk. I'll invest in a museum. These all things all happened to me yesterday because I invested in an adventure instead of saying, oh man, I'm too hungover, or I'm too sleepy, or just give up the day. You're not getting any more days out of me. I need every day I can get. You know what I mean? So up to you, Lao Tao Kun. How you spin it in your head, how you spend it with your time, and how you live it. And that's your morning marijuana motivation. If you got anything out of this, go ahead, like, share, and subscribe below. You already know it's peace and love over here, and it's Chigathon. Always Chigathon. That means goodbye, but not forever in Finnish. And I'm in Finland. And I will see you on the other side of the world, and the other side of your excuses, and the other side of your fear, as soon as you like, share, and subscribe below. But I would love for you to see the other side of the world. I would love to see the other side of yourself. I would really love for you to see a different version of you, of what you can be. And that's this morning's motivation. Go have a blessed day. Peace.